Now that was the season finale, if I could say so. It was a very exciting fight. It was really interesting not to see to not have my heads up display on during that sequence, but it was pretty good. It was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So the season gameplay loop. Let's just go over like the good, the bad, and what could be done better. In terms of it, when it comes down to it, I really enjoyed where the story was going this season. I like how we got to take a look at Deputy Commander Sloan and see her story as she is a survivor, you know? Being trapped in enemy territory for almost 2 years, that's gonna do a lot to a person's psyche. Like, delving into that, this recent dialogue of just being able to talk to someone, you know, what, like, that is like a sense of, honestly, PTSD, and just knowing that, like, that you have to keep pushing until the mission is complete. Like, that's something that will take a toll on a person. And just being able to push past that. Especially with how the previous seasons, where we were dealing with Xivu Arath, right? Where she was always like a looming threat, but this time she's finally putting her face on the line and actually like revealing her hand as to who she is. Like, that booming voice we heard when we kicked off the season was fantastic introduction. And how now we have 3 of the leading titans in the story working to get 4 of the leading titans now. 4 out of the 5 leading titans, like, in the story, leading the charge and being, like, troops on the field, you know? Like, it was really, really nice to hear that, especially during that final mission. That was a lot of fun. But now, I feel like there's a lot of things I did call in the beginning. Like, so I always kept saying how, like, you know, that little taken fleck there really goes to show, like, hey, you know, I have an itching feeling that they're gonna attempt to take her. And same thing with Sloane, like how that taken arm was like the connection. I was like, I called it. I fucking called it. That was gonna be the case of they're gonna attempt to take Asa and Sloane. And so during that final cutscene, it was like, yep, yeah. Like, the hints were there. Or at least, it wasn't there, but, like, the pieces were in play. Because ever since Destiny 2, The Taken King, after we killed, Oryx, the throne has been empty. And so no one was there to take control of The Taken. So, us being the ones to be there in that moment, yeah, I'm not surprised, like, that was what was about to happen. So, it was really interesting to finally get to see that happen. Yeah. Other things of lore note that relate back to the previous seasons. So like I said, saying during the season of Rasputin, where it's like, if we activate the Warmind, we are inciting war against Savathun herself. Therefore, she is going to be powerful. But it's a damned if you do, damned if you didn't situation, where activating the Warmind, if we didn't activate the Warmind, and so instead, Rasputin decided to off himself, which closed out that sequence of events. Meaning, no one has use to Rasputin. Meaning, it nullifies either side in that Cold War standing. Which is really interesting, too. And so, implications for future seasons. So, next season, it's definitely going to be involving resurrecting Savathun and having her fight on our side. Convincing her to fight on our side. And Imaru, too. Which is going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting dynamic to change that up. Because, as we know, Savathun, the Witch Queen, has been the villain of, was the rising villain from Shadowkeep to Witch Queen, where she is, like, the rising big bad. And so, here, we're continuing to turn enemies, like, once enemies to our side. Like, those big blue dudes that we saw there, that's the Cabal. We've been fighting the Cabal for I don't know how long, and they were the main antagonists of Destiny 2 Vanilla. And now they're fighting along our side. And then the Elixni, too, now that we have Mithrax and Ido on our side. They were, like, the main enemies, like, the main vanilla enemies of Destiny 1. And they've been prominent enemies over the course of Destiny. So now I'm calling it that, like, yeah, now we're gonna have to have Hive Guardians fight on our side too, which I knew was gonna happen. Like, there was no way it wouldn't happen. Like, it was expected. Like, this comes back to the dichotomy of Destiny, where it's not the whole dogma of light, good, dark, bad. These are just means to an end. These are just tools that people can use. So, the powers of the darkness, like, once we have the abilities to use the darkness, when we got stasis, that was the turning point of, hey, now we know that, like, darkness isn't inherently bad. It's who's using it and how they're using it. Like, between the battle of us and, oh god, I forgot her name already. The main villain of Beyond Light, Aramis, there we go. Like, yeah, she was, like, using the darkness to her advantage, but she wasn't inherently evil. She did what she was using, what she thought was right for, to help save the Elixni people. And so that's what that was. And then the Cabal, you know, they're when it comes down to it, they're just a warrior race. They're a proud warrior race, really. They're basically the Romans of Destiny. And that's why they have, like, the whole Centurion and Phalanx, like, type nomenclature. They are the embodiment of war, but they were conquerors, you know, like. And then when you get as being a dominating force, but then you're stepped back to your back foot, that's going to change how your ideals are going to be. Especially once you have, like, a character like Emperor Callus, who used his power and abused it, you know? And then, like, once they were here in the Sol system, that was just like the remnant fleet. Gaul came through to try to take the power of the light. He did. He had the light for a few seconds, and then he died with it. So yeah. Callus being an embodiment of the darkness of the Cabal, and Keitel being the embodiment of the light of the Cabal, really goes to show, like, how the dichotomy between the two is very different. So yeah. So when it comes to it, all these factions in Destiny aren't one way or another. It's just, what is their ideology? And I think that's, like, one of the big things, is just that. Right now, with what's happening with the Witness wanting to destroy the universe, as we learned in the last mission, before, like, last week's mission, we now know that, like, okay, so that, like, they want to destroy the universe, and that's something that's happening there in the case of the Traveler. Where the Traveler here is a physical entity of the light, where it's to build, what's it called? To build up to build life. It's a terraformer, you know? And that's what it did. And so, basically, with the Traveler, it's an embodiment of, like, there is light, there's creation, there's prosperity. With the darkness, it's like, there is destruction, there is finality, you know, yin and yang, good and bad. And that's what it is. So in the ideologies of the Hive, and the Krill, well, initially, they were supposed to be one of the beings blessed by the Traveler. So, with that, they were supposed to have Hive Guardians already. They were supposed to be able to, like, live for a long time. They were supposed to be able to create wondrous civilizations. But the Leviathans of the Deep, the worms, the worm gods, were touched by the darkness. And so with that's what set them to be on that path of destruction. That's why they have the whole sword logic, where it is a means to an end to destroy life. Where, how do I put this? Where the Taken King developed the sword logic, where only the strongest will survive. You know, survival of the fittest. That's what it was. That's what the sword logic was. And then there's the bomb logic, which I can't fully tell you what that one is, but it's something of, like, the creation of light and those powers that be, to be able to get, like, you know, I don't really know bomb logic and sword logic too well. That's the in-depth reading you all have to do on your own time, or at least, like, watch a by video. But yeah, that's the best we have on that speculation. But coming back to it, on, like, the battle lines being drawn of, like, the good guys versus the bad guys, who's on Team Light, who's on Team Dark, we're gonna have Hive on the light side. And I knew that was gonna happen at least like a season and a half ago. Like, when the battle lines were being drawn. Like, once we got Keitel on our team, once we got Mithrax on our team, I was like, yeah, there's no way we're not gonna get the Hive on our team too. Like, I can feel it. Savathun wanted to join us anyways, or like, once we broke her and showed her like, hey, we aren't like the bad guys. Like, you guys aren't really the bad guys. Actually, you know what? I think I will take the rest of Destiny Tuesday and finish off the Witch Queen campaign on my Warlock. I think we can do that. And so I'll show you guys what happened there, and kind of bring us full circle on everything that's been happening. So let's do that. Let's do that. And yeah. So I am recording this a little bit here, this little segment of what's happening. So if you guys want to see that on the future, or at least like I'll leave this a little 10-minute like speculation of it, and just my thoughts. So yeah. So once more, my thoughts on Season of the Deep. I really enjoyed it. I wish I could have had a better chance to play more of it, but it's just I've been so busy this season, so I've only been able to play for the story content. Again, like I said, it's basically Season of Plunder 2.0. It's an aquatic themed season, redundant gameplay loop. So like the gameplay loop, it's whatever, you know, like you do the thing, you do the weekly story, boom, you go do your end game stuff. Right now, Destiny is at a point where it's difficult for them to continuously create fresh new experiences and gameplay experiences on so many different factors because of just how late game, like, this is like not even late game anymore, this is beyond late game. Like, this is the issue of the games as a service model, where it's not easy for game devs to be able to keep the game alive in a thorough way. Like, right now with weapons, we are having power creep. We're having, like, for me, armor creep, because there's nothing incentivizing me wearing a full set of armor minus, like, it looks sick, you know? That's the issue right now, honestly, more than anything else, is that armor light level doesn't mean jack and shit. That's really it. That's my only thoughts and opinions of it. Beyond that, you know, this game appeals to my sci-fi fantasies of being a gunslinger, of being a tactical trooper. In the science post-apocalyptic world now, we're in like a post-apocalyptic universe. So, yeah. Veteran players, we're stuck in the swamp. Newcoming players, you're stuck in a situation of what the hell is going on? What am I supposed to do? That's the issue right now. Right now, as a community here in Destiny, we, as the veteran players, need to go back and teach new players what to do. We need to go in and show them what's up. We need to tell them how things are going. And that's really what it comes down to. Right now, we're on the post-endgame. For people who are experiencing endgame burnout, go and teach new players how to do things. Go and teach new players how to do a Nightfall. Go and teach new players what your gear stats mean. Go and show them how to build craft, theory craft, without the whole, like, without any of that endgame bias that we have of like, oh yeah, this is the best way to build a loadout. Oh yeah, this is the only way to play. No. Show them how there's different ways to play. You can see my build is like super like unoptimized in one way to like wreck it, but also it is a good build too, where I can survive, where I can just, if I just want to rely on gunplay, I can rely on gunplay. If I want to do like the super abilities that everyone else does, where it's like, oh yeah, this is how you can just sweep an entire room. You can do that. There's still 100,000 different ways to play this game. Right now, us veterans are just spoiled endgamers, and that's what it comes down to. We're bored because we have nothing to do. But that's because we've already done everything there is to do. And then we're just being drip-fed all the story. That's it. That's the issue of Destiny players at this moment. PvPers, I understand our gripes. We're not being treated well. We don't get anything. The sandbox is unbalanced. We need more maps. Gambit players, we need more maps. All our stuff was taken away from us. And yeah, our old gear is back, but it's not through Gambit anymore. Gambit is in a state where we need all three versions of Gambit back to give us that variety. Like, it's a great competitive mode. Trials Trials is Trials. It's always been busted. It's always, you know, in a weird state. There's nothing we can do about that. Or, well, I mean, there is, but there also isn't. Like, again, meta building, I'd say, is the key thing that's really killing off a lot of the game. Is just like, there's only one way to do this. This is the only way to play. And that's the issue of Destiny players. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to end this rant here. This is like 15 minutes worth of nothing. So, yes. But yeah. State of the game. If you're a new player and you want to learn how to play Destiny, or you want to get into the game, or you want to know what's happening, please do feel free to subscribe to this channel, or at least, like, you know, come through, hang out, join the Discord server. I will help teach newer players how to play this game, what is going on, and I will give you the best of my knowledge, from like the front lines, you know, like I'm the frontliner who tells you what's up. But yeah, if you guys want to learn how to run a raid, I'll teach you. If you want to learn how to run a Nightfall, I'll teach you. Like, how to optimize and build for a Nightfall, I'll teach you. Alright? I got you guys. This is what Shadow Wolf Gaming is. We are your tutorial NPC to help you get through any game out there. So with that, you guys want to see more of that content, you guys know what to do. Subscribe, hit that bell icon, and stay tuned for next Destiny Tuesday. For the live stream, we're still going to keep going. I'm going to say fuck it, and we're going to do the Witch Queen DLC. We're going to finish off the Witch Queen on my Warlock. So, let's do that. Earlier, after the post-game of Season of the Deep. The other big issue of Destiny is there's just nothing for us to chase. And I think that's the issue of power creep, too, is the big thing. Because, like, yeah, you get the armors, but, like, I don't really change out my armor loadouts. Like, if you see my stats, there's nothing for me to really change. Have I gilded Dredgen? I have gilded Dredgen already, yes. I gilded it at least once, if not twice. But, like, eh. Oh, sweet. I got the Sparrow. Yeah, I have gilded one Dredgen, but, like, I don't know. And, like, the titles, I don't know, like, for me, I feel like I got all the titles I want to get lore-wise. And that's about it. And there's all the lore books, which does exist, and I can hunt those down if I wanted to. But, yeah. In terms of the armor, I mean, of course, is the raid armor, which I do want. Like, I do want to get all the raid armors still, for everybody. But, just, I haven't had time to run raids, which has been a huge sadness point for me. Let's see, what else? What else? I'm 3 out of 5 on the Ikelos SMG, I see. So yeah. Have I broken into solo dungeons? I don't want to do solo dungeons. To me, as an endgame experience with dungeons, it's a group effort, and I did try doing a solo dungeon one time. I did do it once. I almost solo flawlessed, what's it called? Oh god, I'm pulling a blank right now. I almost got solo flawless on oh god, it's the moon dungeon. I almost solo flawless that, but I don't really want to. Yeah. I mean, like, at the most, maybe I would do it to get Wanted, so that I could get that on my Hunter for the title, but Deadeye fits him better. Especially since he is, like, the marksman character using the hand cannon sniper rifle combo. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think, like, what can I chase down for? Beyond that, like, I'm just still in it for the story. the story, the lore, and just like the gameplay. But like, the gameplay loop is as it is. You know, it's what you'd expect out of it. I'm like, yeah, I'll still like that. That's why I'm glad Slip is like still asking to run a lot of the endgame content with us. And like, I'm not gonna uninstall Destiny. Like, there's no way that's gonna happen. But we just need something fresh to change up the game. You know, I'm gonna be one of the people that advocates, yo, bring back Sparrow Racing, please. Like, in this time of dourness in Destiny, like, the FPS loop is slowly starting to like run its course. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Give us back the exotic quests. Give us back Reckoning. You know, just all these different things that existed. They were fun. Like, the fun factor is missing. Something is missing, and it's probably the fun factor. Like, Destiny 1, it was a lot of the Age of Triumph armor, you know? Like, that was worth chasing back in D1. In terms of multiplayer experiences, SRL was a great time, because it's like, it's a more casual thing. That's why I'm glad fishing now exists in Destiny, because it's like, alright, cool. Done saving the world? Time to go catch some fish. You know what? Like, that kind of thing. Like, something to make Destiny a little bit more easier to unwind to, and like, casual, like, the fun casual stuff, you know? Like, I don't know, I guess, like, at this point for me, like, as an end gamer, Nightfalls are casual to me, but like, it's the hardcore casual. I don't need to run a Nightfall anymore since I have pretty much maxed out gear on all my characters, and since I know I'm going to run a Nightfall or raid with some of my friends, I don't need to worry about getting the pinnacle gears like that anymore, you know? So, like, I'm stuck with that loop. Like, again, this is just the issue of, like, live service games where at some point you have to drip feed the content, you have to remove content, you have to put stuff back, and it's not like, things aren't accessible to everyone. And that's why I was saying, like, right now the best thing for us as veteran players, instead of being bored, let's help out newer players. You know, that's my line of thinking of things. Of just teach newer players how to play the game, get more people into the game. And like, once people do have those rose-tinted glasses off, is, you know, it's thing. But I don't know. I feel like I'm just preaching to the choir at this point. So yeah. I'm out of glimmer for once. Oh my god. That's a new one. Wait, how did I do that? How did I run out of glimmer? Hold on a minute. What did I buy? I don't know. Anyways, the addendum has been added. There we go. So that's for the VOD.